from India to all of you, all our viewers, all our audience across the globe, those who are watching our program live on YouTube channel GS Motivator. We welcome all of you towards a very important and very interesting topic of today, that is parenting synergies. And to speak on to this topic, we have a very special guest with us, Madam Anjali Dasji. She's a co-founder and COO, iSense Bio, Head of HR, Global Indian School, Ajman, UAE. She's from UAE. She has joined all way from UAE with us today. And she's also the director of Blessed Music School, Ajman, UAE, and a life coach. And on behalf of Dr. Gulshan Sharma ji, I am there. I'm Chitra Kapoor to present as a moderator of this program, as a host of this program, and a link between Madam Anjali Dasji and all our very special audience. So the topic today is parenting synergies, and as it is written here, when we talk about parenting, when we talk about being with our children and in the family, it is in similarities, we are friends, in difference, we have to take tolerance, and in all things, we are united with each other. And to speak on more onto this and to educate us and to guide us, we have Madam Anjali Das. Before inviting ma'am to speak on the topic, I would like to show a few slides of ICSI, and thereafter we move forward. So let's begin. My very first slide is the introduction about ICSI, and I can proudly say this, that ICSI is a platform which is there to unite the global Indians. Yes, the global Indians. And we are the link between 31 million overseas Indian. And together, we are taking care of making education relevant. Education, which is the basic right of everyone, how to make it relevant. We are taking care of it very pragmatically, very enthusiastically, and most importantly, as a workforce of global, to make it a global workforce, we are taking care of this particular thing along with skills. So we, as you know, that we have completed our 1000 webinar that we have started during the pandemic, during the lockdown in March 2020, and we have come long way from there, and we have completed 1000 webinar on 21st of June 2021. And today our webinar is 128th webinar that we have presented to you, that we have been in front of all of you. And we believe that education is incomplete without the synergy of skills and entrepreneurship and empowerment, whether it is for women, whether it is for a youth, whether it is for teachers, and that should be combined with technology, vocationals, and training, and collectively it should be holistic. Shiksha, Kaushalta, Udyamata. And we have also given so many recommendations with all these, that education should be a combination of humor, education should be a combination of music, it should be a combination of fun, creativity, curiosity, storytelling, talent exhibition. It should be stress-free, and it should be full of outdoor activity and in embracing nature. So think on it and do give us your suggestions to us. Or what all components should we add to this to make education relevant? These are few things that we have listed that we think it should be relevant to education. You also can give your suggestions to us. And you can also post us live in the live chat on our YouTube channel. And we can proudly say this, that ICSI is a body which have started India's first finishing school network for service industry, with soft skills, life skills, and talent lab. And very soon we are coming with our Gurukul Gyan Yagya. And 2011 we have dedicated for teachers and youth empowerment. We have to contribute towards India's Atmanirbhar Bharat Yojana, and service industry can contribute in it very much with all the components that are listed in this particular slide. It can be vocationals, research, technology, MSME, along with health and wellness. After this program at 8 p.m. today, you can watch Finance and Insurance for Youth. And what we believe is that B2B is no more back to basic. Pandemic, COVID period have taught us a lot many things. Now B2B is back to basics with good food, healthy food, health, happiness, herbal, holistic approach, and also to combine all these things, we have our digital devices, e-learning methods. So whatever human mind can conceive and believe can achieve, you give your suggestions on gsmotivator@icsi.asia. This is our email ID, where we eagerly wait for your comments, for your suggestions, for your valuable views towards our program. So do write to us. And yes, we are back with this program that we are running today. And I'll give a short introduction about Madam Anjali Das ji. So, Ma'am Anjali Das ji has over 25 years of experience as an operations manager, as a certified NLP, that is neuro-linguistic programming practitioner, and life coach. She has been coaching teenagers, individuals, and couples over the years. She coached children on how to set achievable and realistic goals. She had many coaching sessions where she guided individuals and couples to resolve their interpersonal conflicts and reduce stress in their personal relationships. Her workshops generally have two goals. Firstly, she wants the children to think for themselves using their analytical and intuitive abilities. And secondly, she wants them to work as a team by sharing ideas with each other in a respectful manner. In her workshops, teachers are coached to understand different types of learners. And she has successfully conducted and facilitated special workshops for professionals and teachers on good teaching practices, how to know your children, and classroom management skills. Conducted multiple workshops for students on good etiquettes and smart presentation skills, developed the Global Citizen Program for senior school students, facilitated the Mirror workshop for empowering women, team building masterclass for teachers, where teachers were given the platform to train their colleagues. So with this, I stop share my presentation and I welcome Ma'am. Madam Anjali Das ji. Ma'am, we are very much honored and we are very much fortunate to have you with us today. And we can, okay, right.
Good morning, Chitra. How are you? Good morning, Chitra. It's a great honor and privilege to be talking to you and your audience today. I am indeed very thankful for this opportunity and to be able to share some of the things that I have learned in my journey through life. I consider myself fortunate to grow up with an educationalist. My mother, who has been a teacher all her life, has been a role model and my inspiration, not just for me, but to everyone who has had the privilege of meeting and associating with her. I joined her in the school almost immediately after college. She's my mentor, and a lot of who I am today is because of her. My career has first started in the school. I have stayed with the establishment for over 28 years. Everything that I have learned is from the school environment itself. The school was set up by educationists The whole purpose of having the school, which was set up in the Emirate of Ajman, which is in UAE, was to provide a very affordable, quality education system in the Emirate. They were fundamentally educationists by nature, so the purpose of running the school as a business was never an option for them. It is through these individuals that I truly learned what service is all about. I owe a whole lot of who I am today to all these three individuals. The management's ethos and commitment of the staff always aligned to the betterment of the community and to the service of the community. The school's founders taught me the true meaning of what service is. My work in the school gave me tremendous satisfaction, knowing that making a difference in one's life is very rewarding and a very fulfilling feeling. I had many different roles in the school. One of my favorite roles involved managing relationship between parents and students, between teachers and students. I have always tried to understand myself and improve the quality of my life and people around me. It was 12 years ago when I was first introduced to life coaching. I followed the work of Tony Robbins and several other motivational speakers and became inspired to pursue life coaching at a much deeper level. They have truly had a profound impact on the way I was thinking. I decided to work with a personal coach to discover whether it actually could add value to my life. The work we did gave me clarity and confidence and a momentum which helped me focus in my life. Soon after, I signed up to train as a life coach. I felt a sense of calling for this profession. The more I went into learning the art, the more I started seeing an emotional and mental shift in myself. In a stressful situation, the ability to develop and build on different perspectives help one find clarity and purpose, thus propelling them to be able to move forward. After completing my training, I put back whatever I learned into the school to work with the students, parents, and teachers. Nevertheless, I still felt something was very lacking in my coaching skills. That's when I got introduced to NLP. I got my certification done under Dr. Bandler. The tools that I learned in NLP finally completed the missing link in my coaching abilities. I have done several workshops with students, teachers, and parents. Having a growth mindset in these difficult times and to be able to push forward and create one's own destiny requires a strong and determined attitude to succeed. I recall a program with the students of grade 11, which I had started in my school, called the Global Citizen. It covered 17 United Nations Sustainability Development Goals. During the course of the program, I saw remarkable shifts in the attitude of the students. It was incredible and fulfilling to see students appreciate their own lives, appreciate the opportunities they were blessed with, and to develop a strong belief that they could make a change in the world they were living in. I am most fond of working with children. More importantly, to prepare our children with the much needed life skills that would help them to lead a more fulfilling life. It is obvious that parents play a vital role in the child's life, which brings me to what I would like to share with you today. Kindly give me a moment to be able to share my slide with you.
Sure, ma'am. Oh, yeah. Ma'am, your first slide is still not there.
Just a minute. Chitra? Just a minute. Huh?
No problem, ma'am.
The topic is clear?
No, ma'am, still it is not there.
Yeah, 1 second. Can you see my first page, Chitra?
Hanji. Now it is there. Yes, ma'am.
The topic for today is parenting synergies. What's fascinating about synergetic relationship is that each contributing individual or partner is complete on their own, even a child and a parent. So each of them brings so much value into the relationship that a new bond is created, which is rich and distinctive. It's more unique than if parents were the type who called all the shots on how the parent-child relation should be. To me, synergy signifies that we are present, involved, proactive in the relationship. It's a partnership between the child and the parent, which is based on collaboration, mutual respect, and love. In my experience, I have often found that parents consider their children to be an extension of themselves and not as individuals. You may have who have their own dreams and aspirations. A child must feel involved and responsible in the decision making of her life. They need to feel that they are contributing, and in doing that, they feel recognized, respected, and involved. This also brings accountability into the relationship. Let me share an experience with my daughter. As my daughter was stepping into her teenage years, we were having a lot of issues and a lot of power struggles in the house. It took me time to understand what was happening in our relationship. As soon as she discovered her own identity, we started having difference of opinion about almost everything. She started questioning my values, my beliefs, As a family, for me, it was important to spend our weekends because it was a time for bonding. But for her, she used to have plans with her friends. This was getting more regular and frequent. And we were getting into all sorts of arguments. I used to feel that she didn't care. And she used to think that we were trying to dominate her personal space. Finally, I asked myself, what did I want for my relationship with her? And after a lot of thinking and soul searching, it was extremely clear. So I sat her down to have a conversation. I asked her, what could I do to help make our relationship better? She just said, Mom, listen when I talk. Those four words had a huge impact on my life. Why did my daughter feel that I wasn't listening? Did she feel undervalued or insignificant? That for me was unacceptable. I started being more mindful of my actions and the way I used to react to her. And that is how we started our co-creative relationship and finding a balance that was just right for the two of us. We set ground rules which were acceptable. I won't say that it has been easy, but it did get better. We found a way to move forward. I saw her to be a resourceful, creative individual. She didn't need me to be having all the answers, but she just needed me to be present and non-judgmental. I recognized how she was developing her own personality. And as a parent, how proud I was to witness her growth. Showing up as a parent. Wow. This is such an important aspect of our relationship between our child. We all lead a very busy life, and we all want to do our best for our children. But it doesn't always work out that way. Finding quality time is a challenge. If you think about it, we perhaps have a few quality moments spent in a day with our children, which does not involve instructions or housekeeping details, or conversations revolve around their studies. We must spend this time completely being present in our children's lives. No mobile phones, having meals together, discussing things that take place in their life, their schools, their friends, things that make them happy or things that have upsetted them. Listening without judgments. Sometimes children just want us to be around as a sounding board while they figure things out for themselves. By listening, you're showing respect to their opinions and ideas. I think positive relationships are built on the quality of time you spend with your children. Of all the qualities, children appreciate their parents listening without judging, probably holds the most value for them. Accepting your child the way he or she is instead of drawing comparison between him and his siblings or friends or relatives goes a long way in developing his confidence, in making him have a strong self-worth and self-esteem. Our children model our behaviors. They listen, observe, and they listen to how we observe, they listen, observe our reactions to situations. How we self-manage our emotions in front of them is very important. It adds to their sense of self and their interaction with people. Values are shown in our actions rather than just mere usage of words. If respect and truth is an important value for you, then show it in your interaction with the child. Speak the truth may not always work in your favor, but by saying it, it was the right thing to do. We have to show our children that we don't always have the answers. We are not perfect. We're not Google or Wikipedia, but we can learn and find answers. Our vulnerability shows our children that it's okay to fail, but it's important to learn from our failures and improve on them. Being vulnerable in front of our children is not a sign of weakness, but giving them space to explore and learn to find out things for themselves. Empowering the relationship. Relationship building takes time and effort. I always think of it as work in progress. Developing a strong and dynamic relationship with each of our children takes time and patience. Our children grow and change with each stage of development, which challenges us to adapt to new rules and circumstances. We constantly find ourselves redesigning our relationship with our children. How about keeping an open mind and genuinely enjoying opportunities to course correct in this most precious of relations? Let me share one of my personal experience as a child. Being brought up by a single parent was hard. My mother had to play a number of roles in our lives. She taught us some very important lessons, which were based on having strong family values, being there for each other, and listening to what each one had to say. She taught us through her actions. She always gave the relationship more importance rather than who was right or wrong. Through dialogue, there was nothing that couldn't be resolved. Thanks to her, we grew up as a confident and mindful individuals. Because of her, we learned that to empower our relationship, we must always have love, trust, and respect for each other. Qualities of a strong parent-child relationship always remains constant. Provide a safe environment to grow. Love them unconditionally. Show them respect. Accept them for who they are and not what you want them to be. Be flexible in your approach. The world is a very, very different place where our children are growing up in. We need to be supportive. We need to help them maneuver this journey in life. Who is your child? When a child enters kindergarten, you may find it surprising, but teachers can generally make out what kind of environment he or she comes in from. Sometimes you find the child to be bossy, submissive, empathetic, confident, and more often helpful. A teacher spends a considerable amount of time minimizing the negative traits and reinforcing the positive qualities in a child. The family is where the child's personality is first molded. You will find the first and most important impact on your child's personality is from the parent. Outside the home, your child's school and peer groups decide on who your child is. It is essential to observe who your child is at every opportunity. We can't really control who our child will become, but we can minimize the various negative traits your child may have. What role you play in your child depends completely on you. You will find who your child is depends a great deal on who you are and your parenting styles. We had conducted a survey among kids of the age group 12 to 15 on how well do your parents know you? I would love to share some of our findings. Most common replies were, they don't really know me, but they think they do. They don't take me seriously, even if I'm sharing my feelings with them. Wish they had more time to spend with me. They can't see that I have grown. I hate it when I am compared to my siblings. They feel embarrassed of me in front of their friends and relatives. I can live up to their expectations. They assume they know everything was best for me. They want us to live their dreams. They feel by getting good marks, we will have a better future. So we asked the children, what are their expectations of their parents? And these were some of the replies. I would want them to be more open-minded. Let me make my own decision. So if I fail, at least I will learn to make a better choice. Listen when I talk. Trust us to learn from our mistakes. Stop comparing. Take part in my dreams. Not to be judgmental. Respect my personal space just as we need to respect theirs. To accept my friends. To mean what they say. To me, when we got these results, it was very disheartening. If we parents say that what we do is for the betterment and happiness of our children, but if our children are having such negative feelings, then I think we are doing something wrong. And we really need to sit down and redesign our relationship with them. Parenting styles. We will have had one or more of these styles in various moments in our life. Our relationships with our children. What is important to understand here is that it is normal. Our lives are constantly busy, and we unknowingly adapt these parenting styles with our children with mixed results. As I mentioned previously, the key to being a good parent is to be mindful of your parenting actions. On the screen, you can see different parenting styles. And what are the qualities of these parenting styles? Now, let me tell you the outcome of these parenting styles have on our children. Authoritarian style. Children raised through this parenting style generally develop a follower's mentality and are readily conform with thinking for themselves. Have a hard time judging what is right and what is wrong. Struggle with their self-esteem issues. They rely on external validation. Authoritative parenting style. Children under this parenting style normally are very happy, self-assured because of the nurturing nature of the parent. They learn how to handle responsibilities and make good decisions on their own. They find ways to overcome obstacles because they're given the opportunity and encouragement by the parents. They trust and learn from their own to form their own judgments. Now, to me, this sounds like a very holistic way of approaching parenting. Permissive parenting style. Children with permissive parents tend to grow up with poor emotion regulation, become rebellious and defiant when they don't get what they want. they are unable to handle challenges. They engage in antisocial behaviors. We move to neglecting parenting styles. In this parenting style, child often grows up to battle with depression, doesn't form any close connections with others due to the lack of parent-child bond. He has failed relationships, expresses anger and hostility through delinquent behaviors, isolates themselves from society. So as parents, I feel we should really observe the kind of impact we have on our children. At different points of time, we may have to use different methods, but we have to always be mindful as to what is the impact it actually is having on our children. Create a metaphor. We use metaphor in our lives all the time. Personally, it has helped me to navigate my role in my children's life and also anchor my thoughts and emotions. We often use it to make sense of situations. I would urge you to try it out and observe as the intention takes its own light and acts as a guiding light through all your tough situations with your child. I have given a picture of a roller coaster and a lighthouse. When I started my journey as a parent, my life was like a roller coaster. Although handling children all my adult life, when it came to handling my own child, I was completely all over the place. As life passed by and the children grew up, I finally understood what my role in their life was. I wanted to be that lighthouse, that beacon of light where my children could always come back to. They knew where I was and they could always find their way back to it. So try having a metaphor for your relationship. Remember that through your child, you are creating the future you want. You won't have opportunities to be resentful and critical because your children will be your legacy towards the future. This talk is not intended to only discuss how we may be falling short in our responsibilities, but it is also to encourage us to grow and become visionaries in our parental role. The 3 R's of good citizenship, which includes respect, responsibility, and resourcefulness, starts with us at home. Youth empowerment involves as your parent-child relationship evolves. An individual's search for meaning and purpose is an integral part of growing up. It's a very personal quest which needs the right balance between guidance and freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your patience and time and would like to leave you with a few questions to reflect on. May we all live a productive, proactive life and learn to explore the depths of our own unexplored potentials. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Anjali ma'am.
Thank you, Chitra. I hope it has been a meaningful presentation.
It is indeed, ma'am, and very crisp, very informative, and very interesting. Few questions I would like to take that I am sure that you will be able to answer them. Ma'am, one of the, yeah. Okay, so the very first thing that I want to ask is, during the COVID times and Corona times, when there is lockdown and everybody is at home and
Yes.
everybody has their own work to do, and especially the teenagers and the children. So in this scenario, how you see the synergy between parents and the children, and what they should do to keep all the mental stress apart and to just bring happiness into the relationship?
I mean, this was a very trying time for all of us. And it really proved how we can cope with situations. As parents, it's always our responsibility to know, uh, to plan, to do the right things. But it's like I told you, I mean, we need to show our children that we are vulnerable. But we don't really know we don't always have the right answers, so you should sit down with your children and you should have an open heart conversation and tell them, I am stressed too, but I am so glad that I have you in my life, that even though things are not going right all the time, but the moment I look at and see what I have my family, and they're perfectly in good health and safe. I mean, everything becomes perfectly all right for the moment. And this is where we should really have open conversations and design new strategies with our children. Because just like you need your space in the house to work, the children need their space too. And unfortunately, these are times where, you're 24/7 sometimes with your children. And they get on your nerves, you get on their nerves. So you need to have that time out. You need to tell them, I need my space, and you should give that to your children too. And it's all about, creating a new dimension of your relationship with them.
Okay, right. Thank you so much, ma'am. And also want to ask you that many times we have seen that there is domestic violence kind of a thing, and there is a time where a mother is talking to her son or her daughter, or father is talking to her daughter or son, telling him all about the things that is going on in the house, in the home, between the relationships. Many times we have seen. So my question is that what is the right age of a child to discuss things with them openly? Like many times, I have seen that when we talk the things with the children at a very young age, so it creates a deep impact on their socio-emotional upbringing, and that will go long way into their up development. So there should be a gap, what things we have to tell children and what not. So what is the correct age to discuss everything openly with them?
That's a very good question. And, I'm completely against any sort of violence. Domestic violence, it's completely unacceptable. Whatever the situation may be, there should be no tolerance for domestic violence. Uh, you have to understand that you're the adult, you have to self-manage yourself. You have seen so much more life than your children. Sharing issues of personal nature between husband and wife, it's not something that you expose your children to. There will be a point of time as they grow up, they will obviously see the tension in the house. As a parent, you have to reach out to the child because it is very confusing for them. As the child may be as small as 8 or 10 years, but he's very emotionally sensitive. So as a parent, you have to manage your child's emotions. You have to tell him that it's okay. Sometimes adults do fight, but that doesn't mean that they don't love or respect each other. It's having difference of opinions is natural. So that kind of attitude or that kind of chemistry, if you have with your child, he does grow up to accepting that there will be difference of opinion, but it is necessity to resolve them in a respectful manner.
So do you think that, I'm sorry, ma'am, please continue.
Yeah, please continue.
Haji. So do you think that like education and the background of parents, the like mental development of parents are also very much a factor that will decide?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we have to educate ourselves. I mean, our past experiences are not a reason why we don't have to develop our own minds to the possibility that we could have a different future. If you had an abusive relationship as a child and you observe this in your life, you are conditioned by it. But today, there are so many more things happening in our lives. We are exposed to so many new things. We are exposed to speakers. We are exposed to so many new things. I mean, there's no excuse where we can just say, oh, because it happened in my life, it's okay for me to uh, behave that same way with my children. You can decide, and you must decide that that cycle ends here. And I want to have a different relationship with my child. So if I don't have the skills, what do I need to do to acquire them? Who do I need to see? What are the steps do I need to take? So you have to be very progressive in your way of thinking. It's not okay just because it happened to you. You do not need to take it back into your child's life. You can give a better life to your child. I think that's what responsible parenting should be like.
I think, ma'am, this has given the answer for the fourth question. What holds me back for showing me vulnerability to my child? I think this is the answer, correct answer for that. And even I want to ask that nowadays, even the grown-up kids crossing their teenage, they do respect their parents, no doubt in that, but many times due to their personal maybe tension or stress or anything that they are going through, they do misbehave with their parents, and then the parents quickly come into the conclusion that okay, my child has gone onto a wrong track and this should not be done and all that, and they started consulting for that. So how good is this and how bad is this, and what we should do in this situation? Like we know that that particular child is not into bad phase with his or her parents, and they do respect their parents, but parents have misunderstood what, because they have revolt against them or said some bad things in front of their parents. So how you look into that?
See, the real question here is how much is the parent willing to listen and accept? How much are you willing to change your own, values, your set ideas about things? How much are you willing to do that? If you want to give the power to the relationship, then you must be willing to learn and let go of your own conditionings, your own values. Just like my child, she at every stage, she questioned me why. And it was so important for me to actually dig deep down inside me and ask myself, why do I behave this way? Why am I reacting in this way? And it went to a lot of, at that point of time, what my upbringing was, what my environment was. See, you have to be open-minded. You have to listen. And that word compromise, it starts from home. When you see a compromise with your children, yes, these are things I like, these are things which are workable for the family as a whole, the children tend to also start thinking that way. They start collaborating with their parents, their siblings. We have to be the first person. We have to show our children that, yes, we are progressive, we are learning. There are certain things which will, when you look at the family unit, what is right for the family, you will have to say no. But you also should take the time out to explain to your child that these are my reasons. It may not be acceptable to your child, but you have shown him a way to move forward, and that is how he will conduct himself with his peer group. Sometimes children with frustration in the house, they just lash out to the first person they can see in their school or in their friend circle, because they are dominated in the house, they will show this side of their dominance among their peer group. So you should be very mindful when you're handling the children today, because they are exposed to so much more information, so much more technology, so we have to move with time. We have to teach ourselves different skill sets to cope with the changes that are happening with our children.
Ma'am, many places you have used the word mindfulness. So for me, it is very much clear to me what is mindfulness. But for our audience, which are as a layman, how will you explain to them in a very simple manner what is mindfulness?
Yeah, for me, mindfulness means um, in our reactions, in the way we perceive the information, how we get and how we react to it. It's very easy if somebody says something, we immediately react. What if we take 2 steps back? What if we decide every time I am in a reactive situation, I take 2 steps or just take a minute to calm myself before I say something. For me, that is mindfulness, being aware and conscious about what you are going to say or do. Because once said, it is very difficult to retract what you have said. It will cause hurt, it will cause pain, and that will manifest itself into something else. So I would just say, take a deep breath and then address the situation. Because in that moment of time, you have created space instead of reacting in a manner which you will not be able to take back. You have mindfully taken a step back and then said what you had to say. I hope that answers that question.
Yes, ma'am. My next question is, ma'am, when we say we understand, we trust, then where is the question of pain? There should not be pain if we understand or if we have a trust. Why we are in pain? Because somebody has said us something, but we understand him or her. So
See, Chitra, understanding and accepting are two different things. Okay, pain normally comes up when there is a conflict of ideas, interest, or an emotion. So there will be pain, but it is for you how you move from that pain and you justify that this was the right thing to do, so it is done. And somewhere deep in your subconscious, you still have to give reasons for it, justifying yourself for it. The minute there is a difference of opinion, one person will have a little bit of pain. So it is but natural, but it doesn't mean that you have you can't overcome that in itself is such a beautiful journey. Those are the limiting beliefs that you have, your set ways of doing things. So we as human beings do need time. We will take the best decision, but it does take time for us to adjust to that best decision.
we often say, ma'am, that teachers are the second parent of a child. So how much you relate to this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my favorite place in the school is the kindergarten section. Oh, the children are, they are the most natural self there. They will say what they want to say. There are no filters. And it's such a beautiful space because, they get to do whatever they want. So, when a child comes to us at that stage, all that he has is the experience that he's had with his parents. And for a teacher to develop that bond, that connection, it takes some time. But it depends on that teacher, how nurturing she is, how much of the trust you have gained by the child.
Yes.
And yes, it's an amazing, and I urge all the teachers, have that relationship with the children you handle. It's such a rewarding, such a beautiful relationship having their trust.
Also, I would like to ask, ma'am, many times parents send their children to boarding. So they think like that it will be a good place for their development and for to bring confidence in them and to make them independent. But I want to ask, as per your opinion, how much it is good to keep your children to with you at your place to inculcate values in them, or it is good to send them to boarding? What do you think about it?
The reasons behind parents sending their children to boarding could be various. Now, personally, that is not something I have ever given a thought to. You can teach your children values right where they are with you. They observe you, they model you. So you don't have to think that it is anybody else's responsibility. Bringing up a balanced human being in life is nobody else's responsibility but yours as a parent. So you can't find excuses or reasons that uh, you need to send your child off somewhere to become a good citizen. That is your responsibility. So values are learned from home, by your actions, by my actions, by everyday interaction with the family, with the relatives. So I really don't, I mean, for me, it was never an option to send my child off to a boarding school.
See, as you also told us that children are our legacy, so we
Yes.
have to think that what our legacy should be in the future. So, okay, my next question is, ma'am, what is the difference between self-esteem and self-respect, as according to you?
Oh, that's very interesting question. You know, if you don't have respect for yourself, if you don't feel good about yourself, you will never be able to have respect for anybody else. So self-esteem comes from that innate responsibility of the adults around that individual, especially the parent, to develop the confidence to make the child feel good about himself, till such time that child can form his own impressions about things. So, by always looking down on the child or telling him what to do, it does not help for the child to develop his self-esteem. He is only able to respect anybody else if he has a very strong self-esteem.
Right. Right. Ma'am, I would also like to ask you that if you can give us any 5 tips for being happy. Like
Yes,
you are NLP trainer as well, so can you just share few tips for
hello.
being happy with our? Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Sorry?
Am I audible to you?
Yeah, I think I lost you for a minute.
Okay. So my question is, like, we want to have some tips for being happy, happiness tips for teachers and students.
Happiness tips. Wow. There's no handbook for these kind of things. It's very internal process. It's basically being comfortable where you are with yourself, being creative about things, not limiting your beliefs about things. If something is not working, there's no point in putting your energy into it. Get up, have a new plan, redesign. Uh, the opportunities are limitless. It's just our mind and the conditioning that we have is limiting it. So to the students, just do what you are good at, have explore new avenues, try out everything, and form your own judgments about what you can and cannot do. Just because you're not good at something, don't limit yourself to not trying, because you can never know. You might just surprise yourself. For teachers, I think having a work-life balance is very important. Uh, this COVID period has really taken a stress on the teaching community because of the online learning, reinventing the entire tool for learning. It's taken a huge impact on them. It's like 24/7 a teacher is working today. When she used to come to school, she did the 6 hours, she went home and managed her family. But working constantly from home, it's been very challenging for them. And kudos to the effort they have put in and trying to reach out to all their students. And the commitment is just amazing. So do things that make you happy, even if it is 10 minutes in a day to just sit down with yourself, read something that you like, or do an activity which brings a smile to your face. I think you owe it to yourself that to identify the things that bring you happiness. It could be the smallest thing in the day, but I think daily you should give yourself that time. And one request. At the end of your day, just sit down and be mindful of the things that you are thankful for the things that worked out today. Showing gratitude to life is very important. We hear such sad stories all around us. So there are so many reasons why I am grateful for what I have, or for my health, for the fact that my children are well, my husband's well, my mother's well. So I have a lot of positives that I can be grateful for. Yes, there's always things that will go wrong, but there are always things that are bright and cheerful in our life. So being happy depends upon what you want to give your energy to, what thought you want to give your energy to. So if happiness is what you want to give your energy to, then find out things that make you happy.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for this wonderful message for all, for happiness. And while signing off, while saying goodbye to our audience for today, we just want to have one last message from your side. You are so much energetic. You are so much into work all the day, throughout the day. So what one thing keeps you going throughout the day? What motivates you? Just last thing that we want
I am thankful for the life that I have been given, for the opportunities that I have been given. And if I wake up the next day and, my body is sickness free and my mind is pure and clean and receptive, I am just happy about it. And regardless of what the challenges the day may bring, I just try and concentrate on working through the situation step by step. And I know it's going to get better because that is my attitude. Obstacles will always be there, but I am resourceful enough to find a solution which will take me from point A to point B. And for now, I am happy that I can do that. So work, it's, you don't get up and just say, I'm positive. You have to work at it. You have to find a reason to drive you to it. And, for me, my children are very precious. And when they look at me, I want them to know that I am hopeful and I'm driven. It's just not an ambition, because I am that way. I look forward to the next day. What can I create better? What can I do better? And I want that attitude for my children to have. So Yes, I think my driving force is my children.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So, love, happiness, positivity, resilience, empathy. This is what the message from Anjali Das, ma'am. And we are very much thankful to her. We are grateful to her that she has taken time out of her busy schedule for us, and she has come on our platform to guide us on parenting.
Thank you so much, Chitra, for having me on your platform. It's been a pleasure. If your viewers have any doubts, questions, just want to talk, my email is available here, and I'm more than happy to assist and be of service.
So can we have your email, ma'am, once again? If you can just, okay, this is coach, COACH yes, ma'am, please, aap boliye.
It's coach@anjalidas.com. You can drop in a mail and I will be sure to reply to you. So thank you again, and have a brilliant life.
Thank
Be
you, ma'am.
safe. Thank you.